Perspective now from the former U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, John Herbst, who joins us now as senior director at the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Center. Read between the lines for us. I'm sure you watched the news conference and the back and forth even earlier between Trump and Macron. You think they are actually making progress towards peace for real?
Well, I think there have been some steps forward and some steps backward. The fact that the Europeans for the past week or so have been talking seriously about putting peacekeepers into Ukraine, a proposal that President Trump's team put forward months ago, is a good sign. The first thing they're proposing now is a little bit on the small side, putting 30,000 troops a good distance from the actual fighting, but it's a step forward. The fact that progress has been made on a deal between the United States and Ukraine for Ukraine's critical minerals and rare earth minerals is also a good sign, although I'm not sure we're as close as your reports just described.
Okay.
But I think there has been progress.
Yep. Why? What indications are you getting that there's more work to be done there?
Well, I'm in Kyiv, by the way, under air alert. Putin's launched more missiles and drones at Ukraine for the second day in a row. I've talked to some people who I think know what's going on. And again, I think there's been progress. And I'm just not certain we're about to see a deal tomorrow or the next day. Although in the next week or so, maybe. But again, clear progress has been made.
So what are the Ukrainian... at first, it seemed like Zelensky said no way to that. But what are the... what type of, does he see it differently now? Say, well, you know what, maybe I should cut some deal, get something out of this for me in this. What's the change, or has there been a change in his approach on that?
I think that Ukraine has a great interest in having such a deal. Okay. And I think the United States has a great interest. So the terms, I think, have now changed a little bit, reflecting the jostling between the two parties. Okay. That's a good thing. That's a normal thing. Right.
Okay. That makes sense. Now, this other thing, I don't know how much they matter. I've always wondered how much, and you have more experience in this, these things matter, right? So certain things that, as usual with President Trump, that he says are not necessarily true or not backed up by the facts. Like when he talks about the overall numbers in aid, it doesn't seem like, I don't know where he's getting the number, 300 to 350 billion. Right. You know, we looked it up, it's much less than that. And the European numbers that he uses should be much higher. So that's one thing. Then he talks about who starts the war. Obviously, Russia starts the war. I don't know how that affects the negotiations, but it was interesting today what Macron said about Russia. Let's listen. This is Macron earlier.
This war costed all of us a lot of money. And this is the responsibility of Russia, because the aggressor is Russia.
So in English, he was answering some questions in English and some in French, and the Oval Office said Russia's the aggressor. So this has all been set up before by Trump. How much does it matter? How much is it having an effect on the actual outcome?
I think that, there's no doubt Russia's the aggressor.
Right.
And I think under some tough questioning from Brian Kilmeade on Fox, President Trump acknowledged eventually that Russia was the aggressor.
Right.
President Trump has an unusual style for negotiating with the world's nastiest people, dictators of militarily powerful states. That includes, of course, Putin. That includes Kim Jong-un. And remember, during the first term, Trump, using this unusual style, it's a style that uses flattery and soft words much more than tough words. After he called Kim Rocket Man, then there was lots of praise going from Trump to Kim.
Yep.
And of course, Trump thought that would work with Kim, but it didn't. And Trump, to his credit, walked away. So we're seeing the same tactics now with Putin. But Putin is really not interested in a ceasefire because he thinks he can take more of Ukrainian territory. He's embarrassed by the fact that Ukrainian troops have occupied the Kursk Oblast of Russia now for 7 months. He wants to kick them out. But he understands that Trump really wants a ceasefire and a peace deal quickly. So I think he's romancing the president. I note that the news today from the press conference was Trump saying that Putin assured him he's ready to have European peacekeepers go into Ukraine. Well, that's nice for Putin to whisper that in President Trump's ear. But just, 6 days ago, in Riyadh, after meeting with Rubio and Waltz, Lavrov, the foreign minister, said, no way, it's completely unacceptable to have European peacekeepers in Ukraine.
Right.
So let's see Putin put that on the record.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.